Ladies and gentlemen, the next few days could be quite big for Bitcoin, or they could be a complete and utter dud, failure, setback, whatever you want to call it. And the reason for that is this. We've seen Bitcoin finally edge above its momentum indicator resistance coming from the RSI, a very major resistance line stemming right backwards from November 2024. It's been retested on multiple occasions. It's been broken to the upside quite definitively now. We've seen a daily candle close above that level. We're above it definitively. And look, we've done the same thing actually on the total cryptocurrency market cap chart, matching Bitcoin's momentum breakout. So this could either be a massive momentum shift to the upside, or it could be a complete failure and a rollover. And we don't really have the answer yet, because although we've seen a momentum indicator breakout, we're yet to see a volume surge following that move through and validating that move. So big few days ahead. We'll discuss this more in detail in a moment here. But before we get into it, we have an exchange here that has never been hacked before in 3.5 years of being on the market. That is global non-KYC. You can sign up from anywhere in the world and use this exchange without a VPN. And furthermore, with my referral link down below, you can get a 15% trading fee discount attached to your account for life, as well as $8,000 plus USDT in trading rewards added to your account as trading bonuses for signing up with my referral link down below. This is big stuff here. It's an excellent deal. I reached out to them for partnership. They did not reach out to me. I don't get paid by them. The only thing I get is a referral link. And if you want all those things I just mentioned, which you should, trust me, I've done the scouting of the market, you can use my link down below to sign up. It takes 30 seconds and you'll get those rewards and bonuses, and you'll help out the channel. I appreciate that, guys. Let's get into the content. So just to give you guys some context, as I always do here before we get into the new content today, we're going to identify a few levels that make this chart make a lot more sense. First and foremost, a major macro resistance zone right here stemming backwards from 2017, then a major macro support zone stemming backwards from 2021. These form our prior resistance and support levels. That was the prior macro range between those yellow lines. You can see us bouncing around in there, eventually seeing a double top formation and breaking down. That breakdown was actually caused by multiple rejections from the center line of the daily chart Gaussian channel. You can see those rejections over the course of 3 weeks. We dropped down. We saw a little pump upon the release of the Bitcoin strategic reserve or the announcement of it, but that was quickly eaten up and we went back down, and we've been kind of horizontally consolidating ever since. But I think a better way to even understand this is to look at it as a pattern, because that's what it is. This is basically what looks like a large descending wedge formation. We're going to draw that in and we'll make it a different color just so you can clearly identify what I'm looking at here, or see what I'm looking at here. Something like that. You can see a very clear descending wedge. In fact, we'll make the prior range white and the wedge yellow. And my argument has been that wedge is very similar to what we saw in 2024. Instead, in 2024, it was a channel. But the point is, it's a pattern-based macro consolidation / correction. So there's a channel in 2024. There's a wedge now. Kind of the same thing, kind of a similar thing. Long, drawn-out consolidation lasting months, but overall it broke to the upside. In order for my bias on that to be changed, I would want to be seeing Bitcoin avoiding breaking down below 73,000 to 70,000. So basically, as long as Bitcoin remains above 70,000, I will stand by the fact that this is a descending wedge formation that is generally leaning bullish due to the fact we're in a macro bull market. It's the 4-year cycle, and due to the fact that that's just the structure, right? Descending wedge is a bullish structure. And even though we've seen a breakdown from our prior macro range with a double top formation, I can't ignore the structure itself. We can't sit here and ignore structures. We have to trust them. So as long as we're above this green support box, I think we're pretty much in the clear for the bull market. That's not to say we won't go below it. We certainly can go below it, but at this point, we've got some breathing room here. So what is today's topic? Well, today's topic is looking at the wedge itself, because it looks like, if you're zooming in here, this wedge is actually beginning to break, but it doesn't look like a convincing break, obviously. There's no volume surge. There's no big breakout yet. There's nothing really. In fact, if you look at the volume is going negative. We're seeing descending volume, which is actually a representation of compression. So if anything, this is getting less and less decisive as the days and hours roll on, not more and more decisive, which you generally see with a breakout. Now, this is very interesting because this is happening at a time in which we've seen the momentum indicator, the RSI, start to actually break out. So momentum indicator generally front runs breakouts on price charts. So there's a few different ways you can draw it. You can draw it like that. You can draw it like that. Either way, it's broken out. Let's just draw it like this for argument's sake. And basically, it's been broken out for either a few days or it's been broken out for about a day if you're drawing it conservatively. Either way, the momentum indicator is broken out. and there's no follow through on the price chart yet. That's not necessarily abnormal. Sometimes you can see that. Sometimes the price chart takes a while to catch up. But the fact that we've seen a breakout on the momentum indicator, that is the RSI, means that Bitcoin has a window of opportunity here to start moving on the price chart. If it doesn't start moving soon, the momentum indicator kind of loses relevance. Perhaps we redraw it. Perhaps it starts to look different. Perhaps a new structure forms. And we're in a position which Bitcoin just hasn't done anything. And what we were looking at was a waste of time. Now, unfortunately, sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes it happens. But it certainly is the unlikely scenario. Generally speaking, when you see a momentum indicator breakout that's been tested as resistance multiple times, it means something. So it's quite interesting that Bitcoin isn't quite moving here yet. It could be a lack of catalysts. We look at the calendar, for example, and we see really nothing's going on for the rest of April. Nothing really at all. The next major event, macroeconomically speaking, is going to be PPI. That's at the 30th of April, and then the 1st of May, we're looking at unemployment data. But until then, we've got about 10 days of just nothing really going on. So that could be part of the reason we're not seeing any movement. Perhaps people are waiting for those events. Perhaps they're just unsettled by the general situation with tariffs right now. One of the reasons it's especially abnormal that Bitcoin is not moving and the market's not moving right now, even though we've seen these momentum indicator breakouts, is because it's not just a Bitcoin thing. It's also a total cryptocurrency market cap thing. We've seen the total cryptocurrency market cap do the same thing. Momentum indicator breakout happened just yesterday, much like the Bitcoin chart. Again, on Bitcoin, it may have happened a few days ago, but we've seen no follow through so far. At all, really. The price chart has not moved. In fact, we could even be forming a new local resistance, which is present on Bitcoin. If we look at the Bitcoin chart on perhaps the hourly, we can take a look at that right now. What you see is a little local blockade forming, diagonally speaking. Something like that goes back even further if you want to go all the way back here. And that could be a new level of challenge that we could be fronting up against. On top of that, just above the actual breakout point itself on Bitcoin, we have the major level, which we discussed before, the Gaussian channel center line, which is what led to this breakdown in the first place. Constant rejections from that Gaussian channel center line led to this breakdown, and we're running up right against that again. So there's lots above, lots overhead, with no particular catalyst, and these two things combined could be the reason why Bitcoin is not following through with that momentum indicator breakout. It doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. I think we have big opportunity, as I mentioned, in the next few days for this to happen, because there is sometimes a bit of a lag, a bit of a delay. But if it doesn't happen in the next few days, we're going to have to look at something new entirely. So unfortunately, I conclude on quite a bad note. These charts remain a bit of a mess, a bit of a murky mess with no real clarity. Luckily, even if we ignore the wedge itself, and even if we act like the wedge doesn't exist, we still have this uptrending level of support in yellow, combined with a major resistance zone coming from the Gaussian channel daily chart, which has acted as resistance, keeping Bitcoin down since February. Either way, there is going to be intense compression into that support line, which will eventually lead to a point of apex that Bitcoin has to move either up or down from. That will, I still stand by it, probably happen within the first week of May, like before the first week of May, even potentially in April. So there is still going to be an apex coming regardless of, even if the wedge is completely fake and it's made up and it doesn't make any sense, even if it's not real, which I don't see any reason to think it isn't. There is still going to be an apex coming from external factors from this support line and that Gaussian channel daily chart. So really, I mean, there's no surprises here. You guys know it as well as me. The market right now is a murky mess. There's a lack of clarity everywhere. This is abnormal. This is not really seen before in bull markets. We've got a completely new market environment here with Bitcoin seeing these long drawn out consolidations followed by sporadic moves lasting a couple of weeks, followed by long drawn out consolidations. It's not typical. And so for that reason, it's quite hard to navigate. But I think Bitcoin does have an opportunity here in the next few days, and hopefully it does not squander it. So a bit of a strange video, just discussing some setbacks in the Bitcoin chart, but also discussing some opportunity potentially. Fingers crossed is all I can say. I don't really have any concrete predictions because nothing's really happened yet. But I've tried to keep it short for that reason. If I don't have anything big to say, there's no point dragging it out. Guys, once again, go ahead and check out the Bitcoin exchange if you are interested. It's global non-KYC. It's never been hacked before. No VPN required. Very good stuff all around. Hundreds of trading pairs, and you get a 15% trading fee discount if you sign up using my referral link down below. Now's the time to do it. Use the link down below. It takes 15 seconds of your time. It helps out the channel, and it helps out you by getting on a solid exchange, a reliable exchange, a cheap exchange. All of those things are very, very important. So check out that link down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you soon.